1 second, YouTube. Dispose of this empty pack. 4 points. He shoots, he scores in the trash can. So, already uploaded part 2. As you've probably already seen, it was a lot shorter than the first video, so it didn't take nearly as long to upload. Now, since uploading part 2, I did a ton of work on the scepter, and right now the best thing for the scepter right now is for it to just sit there and dry for the next couple of hours. I'll let it dry more solidly. I waited till the glue was dry enough to where I could apply the copper wire to it and wrap it around, you know. And I got the copper wire on there. It looks very nice. And then I put glue where it needed to be put. And then I wrapped the handle and got the handle being glued on at the same time. So this way, all I have to do when that staff is done drying, or scepter, whatever you want to call it, is punch the handle and let the handle dry once more. Oh yeah, and the glow-in-the-dark wand I made, the handle is done on that one. Now the last 2 steps on these wands, making sure the paint looks good and giving it one more coat of polish on the wand side and leaving the handle alone. YouTube, you ever get to a point where you're just sick of complaining about the same stupid shit every other day? Working on my scepter that I'm going to sell on Etsy, I reached that point. I mean, circumstances are what they are. And let me tell you, life is just an ironic son of a bitch. But certain things happen to certain people, and sometimes in certain circumstances you have to wait for certain things to happen. It's much like waiting for a wand to dry, if you will. It'll take some time, but the finished product is beautiful. That's one way to look at it, I suppose. And when this fucking scepter started off as just a basic stick, it didn't look like much. It was like, oh, it's a big fat stick, woohoo, you know. And then after some sanding, some carving, and some painting, and some drilling, and gluing, and wrapping, and podging, and all kinds of shit. I mean, you can't really see it in the vice clamp right now, but I should have gone to bed, but I stayed up all night working on wands so I could get this batch done as quickly as humanly possible. All goth jokes aside, talk about pulling a graveyard shift. This guy. And some of you are gonna be like, okay, curiosity makes for a curious cobra. What exactly were you bitching about? I was bitching about being single again, and I'm trying not to do that because chicks don't like that shit. It's a cliche, especially if you're autistic. It's like, oh look, a cynical autistic who has social issues. Oh, that's typical, right? You know. Because I can sit there and bitch about it. It ain't gonna do me any good. But I do know that when I do have a girlfriend, it's a nice feeling. So some people have to patiently wait while others can easily get it. I guarantee you those of you who can easily get it don't nearly appreciate it nearly as much. But what the fuck would I know, right? Shh. I do know, however, if I want to improve my chances of getting a girlfriend, I need to have more confidence in myself. I also need to have less of a temper and less complaining about stupid shit like that. But it's very easy as human beings to complain about the shit that sucks in our lives. That's a part of being human, YouTube. So pretty much the only thing left on the scepter is to podge the handle when the glue's done drying, and waiting for the glue around the crystal to dry, and all that sort of thing. And the 11 wands that I added handles to are all done drying on the handles, making sure the paint looks good on that before I podge them. That's like 12 wands about to be done, plus the one I've already finished, which makes a grand total of 13. Now, if I hadn't stayed up all night working on these wands of mine that I'm selling on Etsy, then I guarantee you they'd take a couple more days to work on, but I don't know, something about making wands is kind of therapeutic in its own special way. It's something I'm naturally good at, and, you know, I can let my concerns melt away as I'm crafting a work of art. Now, I'm not going to show you the scepter or any of that until it's done drying. And that's exactly my point. If you struggle on the dating scene, then life's not going to be very pleasant, but if you at least got the opposite sex checking you out and responding positively to your flirting a little bit, then that's a good thing. Even if you're not getting anything out of it, you're still improving. You know, that's all we can do is improve sometimes. You know, nobody's perfect. If you think anybody's perfect, you are sadly mistaken. I mean, I can't really afford a gym membership at the moment, but that don't mean I can't do push-ups. I do enough push-ups to get my arms feeling nice and sore, and then I'll let them rest for a couple days, and then repeat the process. You definitely want to give your muscles at least 3 to 4 days to rest before you work out again. Otherwise, you're not going to make any fucking gains. It's like Goku from Dragon Ball Z said, if you don't give yourself time to recover, how are you supposed to get stronger? One of the first things I want to play on my Grand Carillon when I build it, those 4 octaves of 47 bells, is Vegeta's theme from Dragon Ball Z. You get the bells just right. Every time he enters the scene, down, 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 down. That would be an interesting little piece to play, and if you're a hardcore anime fan, you'd instantly recognize it. Go from playing that to the Futurama theme song. I mean, focusing on things like making wands, playing guitar, making videos, bullshitting with your homies, you know what I'm saying? So even if, you know what I'm saying, and let me tell you, it helps to have female friends. If you struggle in the dating scene or want to attract members of the opposite sex, it helps to have members of the opposite sex that you're friends with in your group, in your social circle, if you will. Because if you have a group of friends hanging out with you at a bar and other chicks see the chicks in your group talking to you, and you know what I'm saying, it's like a universal thing. They instantly feel a lot more comfortable around you and they haven't even met you. And when they see that you're single, there you go. That's all it takes. That's all it takes, YouTube. And of course, it helps to find people that share the same interests as you. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you, if you try to get with someone that has nothing in common with you and it's just strictly for pleasure, it's not going to last very long. But don't be afraid to have standards, YouTube. People think that, oh, your standards are too high because you have a social disorder or whatever. That's bullshit. So what makes their standards any different? You see what I'm saying? Everyone's got standards when it comes to love. Love is like a fart. It stinks, it involves assholes, and you shouldn't force it. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone got one, right? I thought about disabling the like to dislike ratio on my videos, but then how are my fans supposed to like my videos? They can't comment. I mean, it's kind of unfair to just get, you know what I'm saying? So I'll leave that on at least. But I had to disable comments on my videos because people were being stupid and ridiculous with the commenting. Unfortunately, a lot of people would not hire me in town because of the harassment I get from trolls. Most businesses don't want to have to take time out of their busy day and their busy work schedule to put up with a bunch of lame assholes picking on me. I mean, is it fair? No, it's not. So I do what I can to make a living. Or at least make some money. Even if it's not much, it's an honest living at least. I mean, people see the long hair and the spikes and they think, oh, who the fuck is this person? But I respect my elders and I'm hardworking, and that's a fact that most people find shocking. They think that just because you're goth, that you're a cynical asshole and that you hate the world and that blah blah blah. I can be cynical from time to time. I don't hate the world necessarily or society. I just hate some of the decisions that society makes, if that makes any sense. I mean, society's not perfect and neither am I, so why the fuck am I bitching about society not being perfect? Exactly my point. Why the fuck am I bitching about being single when I've had sex with 7 different women and none of the experiences are bad, and I haven't caught nothing from it. I haven't gotten nobody pregnant. I mean, there are dudes in my situation who are much older and never had any experience, and that would suck so bad. So even if I go the rest of my life without any more companionship, at least I had the experience. It goes back to what I've always said, it could be worse, right? It always could be worse. It's easy to say that, but then sometimes the stress can be overwhelming. And here's the thing, you're trying to focus on doing your thing and just seeing where life goes, you know, and trying to ignore the fact that you're craving some female companionship, but at the same time, respecting it for a healthy heterosexual appetite. You dig what I'm saying, tubes? You know what I'm saying? Then your friends be like, oh, you need to get laid. Well, here's the thing. You really don't need those sorts of things in life to be happy. You really don't. Those are just a physical happiness. Sex is nothing but a physical happiness. It can be a mental happiness if you're with the right person, but you're not going to be happy with any of that until you're happy with yourself, or at least content enough. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about life is we're all given circumstances we're not happy with. You know, I may have autism and I may be extremely socially awkward, but I can socialize enough to get by in society at least. And I was given the gift of creativity, the gift of music, being able to sing and play guitar, and drink a shit ton of whiskey and still get hard. Ladies, what's up? You know, it makes me laugh because the term whiskey dick doesn't exist with me, unfortunately. And quite often I've noticed that when I'm a little bit drunk off some good whiskey, and I'm around attractive women, yeah, it don't. It'll make the cravings worse. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just being brutally honest. And I get a lot of shit for being a heterosexual male confident enough to wear makeup as a goth, and it makes me laugh. All the motherfuckers talking shit. Well, I bet you I fucked their girlfriend better than they could, if given the chance. So let them run their fucking mouth and talk some shit. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the fucking day, these shit talkers will be eating my shit while I poop it out of my Asperger's. And here's the thing. People have made fun of me for having Asperger's for my entire fucking life. At this point, I'm like, I want to make fun of me having it too. Otherwise, how else are they going to stop doing it? Because it takes the power out of their hands. Because people see me making fun of it, they're like, okay, you know what? It's kind of pointless. And if anything, these stupid fucktards' hatred of me makes me more famous on YouTube. Their obsessive hatred with me over the years has caused me to gain 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's pretty impressive. While I was waiting for various stages of my scepter to dry, went and did the dishes that needed to be done, stomped down on my trash can to compact it so I can put more stuff in it if need be. Because there's no sense in wasting a trash bag. Those fuckers can get expensive after a while. And if you got like a couple of pop cans or beer cans in there, you can step on them and crush them down. That way you're not wasting trash bags. Which in the end is less landfill on Mother Earth. Less trash bags, less litter. I mean, that's a no-brainer, YouTube. Here's a great way to make sure your cigarette butts are put out. You pick through them and squeeze them off into your pipe. This way you're not wasting any tobacco and you can make sure that they're all put out before you throw them away. I'm pretty good about keeping my ashtrays empty. I mean, you already get a bad rap for being a smoker, you know, and people see a full ashtray and it's just, yeah, it doesn't help. And I might get my fingers dirty from working on wands and cleaning out my ashtray, but I don't give a shit, man. I'm living my life. Motherfuckers be like, oh, wash your hands, they look disgusting. And it's like, oh, that's cute. You think you're my fucking parents. That's adorable on YouTube. How about you kiss my fucking hairy white Asperger's? How about that? However, if my face itches, I gotta be careful not to scratch my face with dirty, ashy hands, because then I get the ash all over my face, and that just adds insult to injury. But all these cigarette butts are empty and put out, which means now they can be thrown away. Of course, keeping the windows wide open so that the smoke just is sucked right out. It disappears quicker than house bells. And some of this shit in our society lately has just had me on a fucking roll. You don't even know the half of it, YouTube. Like, some of this shit that I've witnessed in the news in the last 4 to 8 months, it's just like, you've got to be shitting me. There's no way our society can be this fucking messed up. And I thought I was messed up, but Jesus fucking Christ. Ugh. You know, I've never once complained about being bullied on YouTube. So why the fuck am I complaining about being single? That's what I'm starting to realize. Like, it's stupid, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel stupid and selfish for complaining about being single when there are people out there who are way worse off than I am. And it's like, god damn it, dude. I mean, like I said, it's very human to complain about the shit that's wrong with our life. You know, it's natural human reaction. I mean, just sitting there digging through and doing that, they gave me a full bowl of tobacco right there. Boom. I'm like 3 or 4 days ahead of, I'm literally 3 to 4 days ahead of schedule with the wands. And by like, in the next 2 days, it should be done. Minimum. But, I figured I was going to be tired staying up all night working on these wands like a madman, but they need to be done. And there's been times where I've slacked off on wands. I'm like, well, if I want to get serious about selling these wands for Etsy, then, you know, there's been times where I gone like 2 whole months without making a batch, and it's like, dude, the fuck is that? You try to get at least 1 to 2 batches every month minimum if you can. Well, if I can, I should say. You know, that's money right there, man. Yeah. That's money for a goddamn car. Get my driver's license and shit. Kick-ass hot rod or some shit, you know. I could design my own Model T C cab rat rod. Fuck, that'd be expensive, but that'd be a sweet little car, man. But it'd be much easier to buy a cheap classic car here in town than it would be to customize one from the ground up. It's just a fact of life. I've seen a couple of classic cars around town I drive for a pretty reasonable price, considering you can find a classic car for $1,800 pretty easily. I've seen this one green car that I wouldn't mind driving for sale here in town, and it's relatively cheap, and you can definitely tell it's an older car, but the interior's greenish. It's one of, I think it might be like a 50s or 60s type car. That's one thing I want to try to do this summer is get my driver's license. That would definitely make life a little bit easier in the winter time. If I had the money for the car, of course, but you know, a classic car is not hard to come by for a relatively cheap price. I mean, I've been smart with my liquor shopping before. There's been times I go to the liquor store with like $20 and come back with like 2-3 bottles. Because you get shit that's good, you get shit that tastes good, gets you drunk, and it's on sale. See what I'm saying, tubes? Yeah. Got the quartz crystal and they're nice and straight and they're good. I mean, case in point, a bit of a social experiment, if you will. Normally, I'm not the kind of person to openly flirt these last couple of years, but openly flirting with women the last couple of weeks on my own time, whenever I feel like it. I notice that a lot of them respond positively to it, and I can dig it. Yeah, buddy. But you don't want to have too much confidence, YouTube. Too much confidence makes you seem arrogant and vain and narcissistic. But if you're not confident enough, you're considered shy and reserved. And that's just our judgmental society for you, but yeah. Dude, scepter looks sick. Before and after is insane. Now, if you're single, there's a trick that you can learn. And it's learning to recognize potential and a waste of time. If you got chicks checking you out, you got chicks looking at you, they respond to your flirting, they laugh and they giggle at that shit. Or if you see chicks curling their hair around their finger when they stare at you from across the room, that's potential. But if you got chicks who are stuck up and they respond very negatively to your flirting. They look at you like you're dog shit on their stiletto heel. They look at you like, why is he even trying to flirt with me? He's wasting his fucking time. If they give you that nasty look, then chances are that that chick's a waste of time. Stuck-up chicks and wannabe hicks, they're the absolute worst. But watch when I burst on this rap scene, don't give a fuck if my lyrics are unclean. Yeah, life can be mean, but fuck it. These haters don't like my raps, they can suck it. Much like a college student cramming for an exam, I crammed a bunch of these wands, got them done to a certain stage. And it didn't sound right, I know it didn't, but you know what I meant, YouTube. A more appropriate term would be burning the midnight oil, I suppose. And it happened right about when I was wrapping the handle on my scepter. I was bitching and complaining and... In the background, I'm playing a YouTuber that makes swords and axes. And watching videos like that is kind of relaxing because you get to watch chunks of metal be formed into dangerous works of art. It was great for the creative flow, and periodically while I'm working on the wands, I'd stop and I'd sit and I'd watch, you know, and let my mind wander for a minute. And then I look and see that part 2 uploaded before part 1. And that got me thinking, I'm gonna make another video. I got some shit that needs to be said. I might be doing things a little bit differently than the previous 2 batches, but that's what makes each wand uniquely their own. Yeah, this is a crystal scepter, but it doesn't look exactly the same as the other one does. There's subtle differences in the detail. I'm at a point where I can legitimately take a break from wands for several hours because that glue needs to dry on that handle. I mean, every like hour and a half to 2 hours I was checking up on dryings, see how it was doing, you know, and getting the glue to a point where it was dry enough I could set it to the side, get the next step done, that sort of thing. But now I'm at a point where I can just chill for a bit. You know what I'm saying, YouTube? Like, I busted my Asperger's all night to get these fuckers to this point, and, oh yeah. This fucking batch is looking nice. I got 11 wands, or I should say, yeah, 12 wands that are about 95% done. Plus 1 wand that's already done. And because part 2 uploaded first, I put the link for the Etsy store in part 1 as well, but that way my fans on my YouTube who subscribe to my channel can check out the Etsy store. And posting videos letting people know the progress of them. and that sort of thing. Which means over the next couple of days, people will be checking that store, getting ready, because, yeah. And just to get people psyched for the wand sales. And I get and pull that crystal scepter off the vice clamp. I'll show it off on camera before I polish the handle to be like, check this out, YouTube. Of course, with the sun peeking up, you can kind of see it sitting in the vice clamp. I mean, life's full of options, you know what I'm saying, YouTube. If I hadn't found a girlfriend by the time I was 37, I could always save up and get a sex doll, so worst comes to worst, you know what I'm saying. It's not the end of the fucking world. I'm still 27, I got plenty of fucking time. Nothing but time on my hands right now. And why waste what little fucking time you have bitching about things that are hard to change in your life? I mean, there are people who have worse debilitating issues than I do, and they're still pulling off something at least. So, you know, the question you gotta ask yourself, YouTube, is what the fuck is stopping me? Simple enough. But there are times in life where it is rather frustrating. We seem to have a good thing come our way, and the good thing seems to be a surefire thing, and then quite often it's either ripped from us, or at some point we realize it's not good enough, and we either learn to settle with what we got, or we try for better. That's all you can do. And that basic concept is pretty much true with everything. I mean, if I work on my temper and do push-ups every now and then, get bigger arms, work on my temper, that might actually help. You know what I'm saying? I mean, chicks aren't going to feel safe around you if you're coming unglued over stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bitch about trolls and it feeds into it. You bitch about being single, it feeds into it. I mean, it's just... That's the fucking fucked up irony of it, YouTube. Is you lose confidence when you get rejected by women, and then the lack of confidence makes the women reject you even more. So then it's a vicious cycle that basically feeds itself. You know what I'm saying? And human beings are like these wands. Each human being is uniquely their own. So what makes you special? And people would say, oh, what makes me special is autism. Ha 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 ha. Ha. There's a lot of stupid shit going on in our society, and those are rants I'll have to say for another video. I mean, the sheer level of it all just makes my head hurt. Like, society's bullshit makes me want to smoke even more cigarettes. Like, get me the fuck out of this bitch quickly, man. Oh, it tastes so good. Now if I leave that crystal scepter and the vice clamp all goddamn day, it should be dry by the end of the day. I want to make sure that the glue I put around the crystal is also dry. And the nice thing about the glue I use for my wands is that it dries clear. More than likely I'll make enough money to restock on what little supplies I need to continue doing to do. And the nice thing about the scepter is that because it's a little bit smaller in size than the last one, it'll be easier to ship. They're basically going to be shipped out in tubes, and mail-safe tubes, you know. And then they get a sticker to go with them, with your address on them when you order it. And your address doesn't get revealed so long as mine doesn't get revealed. That's the contract you make when you order. Because I don't have a fucking P.O. box. And the reason why I don't, and this is a fair point that my dad brought up, is if I got a P.O. box set up, trolls would be able to send me stupid shit whenever they want. You know, with not having it, you know, it's a bit more secretive with my home address. So that way if wands get a return to sender, at least, or if they get returned for whatever reason, maybe they broke, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But thus far I haven't had any complaints on broken wands or anything like that, so that's good. In fact, if I may make a point, YouTube, this is the first wand I completed in the batch. No paint, just straight podge handle done. Now you'd think a wand this tiny could break real easily with somebody with arms like this. Watch this. Oh shit. See that, YouTube? Even with my humongous fucking biceps, I could not snap that wand in half. And you think, oh well, this wand's skinny. Blah, blah, blah. That right there is the quality check that I do with my wands. And unfortunately, if they do snap in half, then I carved them too thin, and then I have to get another stick and redo it. But thus far, I haven't had any issues. That's how you know these fuckers are nice and solid. Now this one I set on the table while I work on the rest of the batch. And this, just to show you on camera that these are high quality made wands. And if you offer them in different choices of finish, basically, you give people options. So now if anybody tries saying that they ordered a wand and it broke upon arrival, I highly doubt that. And no one's tried that, thankfully enough. This is a mini sword that I possess. It's a nice little mini sword. And it was rather dull when I got it. Right now, the only thing big enough to sharpen this is a steak knife sharpener. Hoo-wee. That's got a nice point, a nice edge on that. I like that. This thing is not easy to sharpen either. I mean, if I had a sharpening stone or a sharpening wheel, it'd be a piece of piss. It'd be done. Be done, son. I definitely gave it an edge, but it's not really that sharp. And using a steak knife sharpener to sharpen a mini sword takes for freaking ever. When I first got this mini sword, it was given as a gift, like a decorative piece, if you will, and I took it and I says, no, that could be a lot sharper. And I'm adding an edge to it, slowly but surely. It's got a nice dull edge on it. Like it's super sharp on the edge, but not like sharp enough to cut. Like right here towards the handguard, it's razor sharp. Then as it goes up the blade, it gets duller and duller and duller and duller. And then that point right there is super sharp. So, you know, I like that. So that's a nicely formed edge. Yeah, if I could get it as sharp as it is down here throughout the rest of the blade, that would be more ideal. I'm taking the steak knife sharpener to this blade. It's like like the metal flake that comes off from sharpening it. If I take my thumb and my pointer finger and very gently go up the blade. I can remove those metal shavings just like that. It would probably be a lot safer to remove metal shavings with a cloth or whatever, but ooh, I like the edge that has on that. That is nice. Sharp enough that it'll catch you once that point makes contact, or dull enough that it's safe to handle. This way it's a lot sharper than it was before. At least now it feels more like a mini sword should feel, sharp enough to do some damage. Especially if you were to speaking of swords, check this crazy shit out. This is the workings to a copper-handled sword. When I get the proper drill, I'm going to drill a hole the diameter of this piece right here so that it'll sink in right there. So, just like that. Only it'll sit up here where I marked it. Now to drill a hole in copper, it takes a special drill for that kind of thing. This is a little sword project I'm working on. This fucking thing is bad the fuck ass. Especially once I get this piece sunken in there like it's supposed to, and then welded in place. And once it's cooled off, we'll take some copper wire and wrap it around for the handle. This looks like some post-apocalyptic type sword, basically. It's a little bit longer than the mini sword, even with it being in there. And the thing of it is, you definitely don't want to use what drill bits I have now. These particular drill bits would snap it. They'd snap and break and go flying everywhere if I tried drilling into it right here. Unfortunately. I don't know if they make drill bits that you can use for rechargeable drills that would work for something like this. I mean, it'd be handy if they did, but I don't think they do. I think you have to have a special drill for copper this thick, because it doesn't bend so easily. But I glued 4 separate pieces for the handle together with some Gorilla Glue. That shit works wonders. And then I Gorilla Glued the blade to the inside of this piece. This is an old blade from a Cobra cane that I had, and it broke off the head of the cane. So I kept the piece that had the cobra on the inside of it. And I'm like, okay, how the fuck am I going to fix this? Instead of trying to make it into a new cane, I'm like, why not make a sword out of it? And doing shit like this, that's resourceful YouTube. I want to get enough copper wire for the handle so that I can do a little thing below it. I may end up getting some copper wire to yeah, I'll decorate the handle with the copper wire last. And then the next step for this is getting this to sit in there. I mean, if you could... You don't want to use rechargeable drill bits for this kind of thing because, no, they'd snap. I tried at one point to do such a thing and it didn't work. That's how I lost one of my drill bits doing that. I mean, it would basically sit in the middle of it, just like that, but only on the other side, where that handguard's at. That looks sick as fuck. Most freaking definitely. This is a project I've had to put to the side, because quite frankly, I don't have the proper drill for something like this. And it wouldn't make sense to spend a shit ton of money on one drill just to use it for one thing. It just seems kind of pointless. I don't think hardware stores do this kind of thing anyway. I'm sure they sell the drill bit you'd need to bore the hole out, but I don't, and the drill you'd need for it, but I don't think they do it for you personally. And the kind of drill bit you need would be something that plumbers would use to make connections. But anyways, tubes. Yeah, I don't want to dip my sword blade doing that. It's not going to do anything good. This copper is so thick that to scratch the surface to the point where it breaks and forms the hole you want it to form. Even doing it without snapping your drill bits would take ages. Because those drill bits are meant for wood and shit like that. This, no. So it wouldn't make any sense to burn through all my drill bits trying to get one thing to work and then not have drill bits for my wands. That's all I'm getting at. Not to complain about it, but freaking how many times it seemed like there's those times when you seem like you might have met the right girl and then she's taken and or not interested in dating. It's like, well, ain't that some cheap shit? That's just typical life, man. And here I am preaching to the choir about, oh well, if you're in a rush to find a relationship, you'll be unhappy with it. And then bitching because I'm single. It's like, what the fuck is this hypocrisy? Now, of course, I didn't cut myself because this blade's not sharpened yet, just the point. I'm saying shit because how the fuck am I gonna put a hole in that? That could have ended badly. Let's not fucking do that shit. Well, I mean, even if something did happen, it's not like I'm getting in enough that it matters. See, that right there is a bitter, sarcastic humor that I love to make. I mean, I almost just stabbed myself with this in a not-so-friendly place. So that would have been, yeah. The first step, really YouTube, and this is something I do actually practice what I preach for a change. I know that's shocking, but the one good strategy for dealing with the loneliness of being single is to crack jokes about it. If you haven't had sex in a long time, instead of being depressed about it, you make jokes about it. Laugh at it. Because these bitches are stupid. They don't know what they're missing out on. Simple as that. If I wanted to get my dick wet, I'd take a shower, and that's funny. See, shit like that, that's funny. Talk about a warlock in the desert. Why do you say that? It's a dry spell. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who can make a joke about not getting laid enough by society standards has to be a lot more well-adjusted than people give them credit for. At least you'd think, right? I mean, most people in my situation would be like, bro, that sucks. Now, if I didn't have my gift with music or guitar or any of that, and it was just straight autism, oh dude, that would suck. Then I wouldn't have anything going for me, man. Like, if I didn't have my physical attractiveness or my natural born abilities, then yeah, forget it. I wouldn't even have the experience I have now if I didn't have those things. I've got blades in there nice and solid and ain't going anywhere. That Gorilla Glue did a heck of a job sealing it in there. But just to be on the safe side, it wouldn't hurt to take some copper wire and wrap it around where that sword connects to the copper piece. And do a bead of copper weld, or a weld bead all the way around that. So it's a more solid piece. I'd have to use a sharpening wheel that you sit down and pump with your foot to sharpen this. That's just being real with it. This, I mean, I could try sharpening it with a steak knife sharpener, but no. Certain mini swords just require higher quality sharpening tools. But this will look sick as fuck when it's done. I mean, legitimately. It's like the last major project on my workbench. And then, you know, I put it to the side to work on these wands, which, yeah, those are one after another. I'll give it about a week and a half before I start working on the wands for the next batch. Once they've been shipped off, like a week and a half after they've been shipped, I'll gather sticks, make another batch, that sort of thing. Sounds like the chime box going off. Yeah. I can't even begin to tell you how deliciously ironic life is sometimes. Like, it's so ironic, it makes you want to laugh like a mad person for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. The hard work I put into completing these wands is eventually going to pay off. And it always does when they sell out. Need to find a more proper spot for this. This was the last handle I polished just recently, and it's almost done drying. The paint on this one is looking good, so I could polish. This is one I can polish instantly. The next step is figuring out which ones need to be touched up and which ones are straight ready for polish. Inspect them. Okay, this one can be polished. This one can be polished. And this one can be painted. Ones I said over here on this side need to be touched up on the paint. And the ones I set over here are ready for podge. Simple enough. And that one needs to be touched up too. So does that one. So does that one. That one looks good. That one can be polished. That one, this orange one, yeah, that can be polished. Let's see. There we go. All 5 of those wands need to be touched up on the paint before they're podged. Or, excuse me, 5 of the wands are good to be podged, ready to go. 6 of them need a little bit of paint here and there, which that ain't too bad. And they're out of the stage where, this ain't nothing but a thing. It's a nice texture on that handle. Now, some of those handles are dry enough that they can be handled, but the polish is still drying to where it doesn't come off, but at the same time it's drying to where it starts to slowly but surely become see-through. And touching these up later on is not going to be an issue. I'm just inspecting them just in case, like, any other sort of paints that might have gotten on that it wasn't supposed to. But right now the main focus on this batch is making sure the handle on that glue right there, or the glue on that handle right there dries, yeah. So I thought that was the only thing I could do was get the handle on there and stop there, but then I didn't realize, okay, there's one more thing I could have done. Make sure and organize, you know what I'm saying? So that when the glue's done drying on that handle, I can podge it. And then after it's podged, I'll let it dry. And then set that wand to the side when it's done drying. And then touch up and podge the rest of the batch, which the touch up and the final podging will go a lot quicker than individually finishing them one at a time. I'm a bit hungry at the moment. And I was gonna wait until I got my phone back to fucking cook some Blue Apron, but repairs are taking a bit longer than estimated. grab my clean spatula here and yeah. Here's the salmon I'm gonna cook up right quick, YouTube. Instead of following some random recipe that Blue Apron sent, I'm gonna do my own thing. We need some seasoning for our fish. There should be enough Tonys to season that on both sides. Okay, now what I've done is I've taken just a little bit of mayonnaise to grease up the bottom of the pan. I've sprinkled a pinch of Tony's in the mayonnaise. And then I put the fish right on top of that graduator all nice and melted in the bottom to keep it from sticking. And I put Tony's on both sides of the fish. I'm going to take just a little bit of this Head County Chipotle barbecue sauce. And I want to pour it onto the fish. I flipped it before I grabbed this shape. It doesn't have much barbecue sauce on there. And then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing to the other side. I'll let that side cook a bit longer before I flip it. I want to cook that barbecue sauce into that fish. You know, I don't think Blue Apron had the idea of saying you're supposed to use mayonnaise and barbecue sauce with the recipes, but Blue Apron's supposed to be healthy, but come on now. I'm putting a twist on these recipes. It'll be a bit funner just to come up with something and make it. Flip it. put the tobacco down to the side of the barbecue sauce on again, and look at that golden brown goodness right there. Who says barbecue has to be for just ribs or hamburgers or pizza or legs for that matter, or chicken? It don't take long for that fish to cook up. It looks just about done. Smoke it. Maybe to a lot of you haters out there, this might look like the saddest attempt at a Blue Apron meal, but this is my first Blue Apron meal that I've cooked, and basically after I cooked the fish, I took the biscuits and cooked them in a little bit more mayonnaise in that fish oil, and then I topped the toasted biscuits with grilled peppers and some sort of, no idea what the fuck this is, vegetable. And before I put the vegetables and grilled pepper on, I put some pickled relish on, because it was just fucking threw some shit together. Now if you were on a deserted island, this fish is cooked realistically enough. The skin is a little bit burnt, but that's alright. Can't be the worst thing I've cooked on the stinking channel. Yo, hold the phone. Yeah. Now for an improvised recipe, I was kind of like, you know what? And the funny thing is too, is Blue Apron came with barbecue sauce, a bunch of other shit, butter, sour cream. If I noticed that, I wouldn't have used what I used, but I'm kind of glad I did, because yeah, that fish is bomb. Yeah, the barbecue sauce cooked into it. That's definitely a unique twist on the fish. The freaking skin came off. Look at that. This is quite interesting because even though that skin was a little bit burnt on the outside, just a little bit, not too much, when it mingled with that barbecue, it actually having that burnt brisket sort of taste to the skin of the fish. Not bad. Yeah, the sweetness of the barbecue sauce pretty much cooked itself all the way through to the middle of that fish right there. Yeah. So if you've never thought about putting or cooking barbecue sauce into your fish when you grill this summer, hold on a second. If you're cooking up some catfish on the grill and you're about to deep fry that son of a bitch, why not cook some barbecue sauce into your catfish this summer? This isn't catfish, this is just fish in general. But yeah, cooking barbecue sauce into your fish. That's dank as shit. I didn't just cook barbecue sauce into it. Just a little bit of mayonnaise to grease the pan. Look at half a slab of that fish for here in a second. This right here is just a weird attempt at making a sandwich with whatever the fuck ingredients I got. I mean, minus the fish juice that these were cooked in. This would be the most vegan sandwich. Half of this is all vegetables and bread. Like, It smells a little funky. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. This right here smells kind of good. You got the relish, grilled peppers. I don't know. This might actually, give it a try. I added just a little bit of Tony's, just a very, very, very teeny tiny amount of Tony's to the vegetables and the grilled peppers. I didn't grill the peppers and the vegetables for very long, but long enough to cook them a little bit. And just a teeny tiny pinch of Tony's on there. That's actually not that bad. With the pickle relish mixed with the flavor of the bun when it's toasted in there with all that grease and goodness from the fish. Yeah, it's this is definitely not the worst thing I've cooked. Let's share the following some random Blue Apron recipe. I'll do my own recipe. That was surprisingly easy to cook, and this is my first time eating Blue Apron. They're not a sponsor. They don't sponsor me at all, but I had a fan send me a little bit to try out. And whether you're throwing recipes together or just yeah, hold on a second. I got a crazy idea here. We're gonna take the bread with the grilled peppers and the funky looking vegetable, whatever the fuck that is. And I want to take this here fish. I'm gonna put a chunk of this fish on the bread over here to make a fish sandwich right here out of this. See how that do on the sandwich, but we got another delicious piece of this salmon here. I hear one of my spirit animals outside. Hello, Mr. Crow. How are you? Alright, so I took a small chunk of that fish, and I'm going to put it right there on that bun. And this will be our top bun. We'll have all these grilled peppers and veggie goodness. Squish it down just a wee bit. First time trying Blue Apron, just cooking with whatever ingredients I have in my fridge or whatever Blue Apron has, you know. That's tasty. It does not have bad YouTube. I don't know how expensive it is, but you don't have to go to the goddamn store and deal with obnoxiously long lines. Pain in the ass self-checkout. Look at that crazy ass looking fish sandwich that I made right there. What the fuck is that? Well, if the fish tasted good and the sandwich tasted good, together they should probably taste just fine.
No, the peppers are a sweet bell pepper. It tastes just like, yep, I recognize that taste. Bell peppers are nice, especially if you want pepper in your food, but you don't want to burn the shit out of your tongue eating it. I made a fish sandwich using Blue Apron. Check that out. It is bomb. It's not the same as having the phone up close and personal, but and you could have groceries shipped to your house for a small fee. Gas is expensive. So not only is gas expensive, but you gotta deal with traffic, asshole drivers, pain in the ass stoplights, and then you get to the grocery store. Kids crying and screaming everywhere, people talking loudly on their cell phones, long ass lines at the registers, self-checkout, short-changing you on your fucking return. And they go to give you change and shit. Grumpy ass cashiers, you know, there's so many things that can make shopping at the grocery store incredibly unpleasant. And if it ain't the occasional grumpy cashier, it's the fucking people, man. Like, there are just some people walking in Walmart wearing clothing they shouldn't be wearing. It's just, oh, hell no. Like, I get it. You know, you want to be confident in your body image. But when you're like fucking 900 pounds and you're wearing Daisy Duke shorts, it's like, cracking no. Just no. No. Just no. Stop. No. 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 I'm like, you know what? Fuck what the recipe say. I want to come up with my own shit. Oops. Now I have my fingers pointed down. One finger is pointed at the sandwich. These three fingers were pointed at my fork down here. And this fucking finger pointed over here, and you saw the fork move. That was cool shit. Keep in mind that this plate is level on my legs. Now I get that some people are into heavier set people. That's cool. That doesn't mean everybody else wants to see it, dude. Like, that's an example of too much confidence. And it's like, okay, you want to wear yoga pants, I get that, that's fine. But it's just certain items of clothing that certain people should not wear. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's the goddamn truth, YouTube. I mean, eesh. That's just as bad as 12-year-olds walking around dressing like college chicks, man. Like, what kind of fuckery is that? No, dude. I tend to, now this is the thing of it. If some 12-year-old little skank is walking around dressing like she's in her 20s, going to the club, I kind of want to smack her parents as hard as I can. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's battery assault, and it's not my kid. But, you know, hey, don't come crying to me when your kid ends up knocked out by one of her schoolmates. Oh, because your dumbass is like, oh, I don't want my kids having sex. I want to brainwash them with abstinence only education. Yeah, because Jesus is the answer. And it's like, instead of being like, okay, you know what, maybe, you know, telling your kids, hey, maybe you want to wait till you're a little bit older to be doing shit like that, you know. YouTube, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I'm straight up being for real. When I see these underagers dressing like total sluts, it's like, dude, you just want to smack the parents, but, like, at the same time, it's not your place to make that call. But at the same time, you're like, really? Really? And the parents get pissed off and blame the education system and everything else when their daughter gets pregnant by one of her classmates for dressing like that. Now, if the weather's warmer outside, of course, you're going to dress a bit more shorter to dress more comfortably. I get that. But, come on, YouTube. That didn't take too long to cook up, and that actually wasn't that bad. But it's not the same as a cooking video with, like, say, the phone right up close and personal, but to be quite honest, I was hungry, and I'm like, you know what, fuck waiting for my phone to get fixed. This shit needs to be eaten now. I've been wanting to try that salmon for a minute, because it looked good. Whatever the fuck it was that I just ate. A fish. I mean, if you're not a fish connoisseur, then I wouldn't recommend it. But that's pretty good fish, y'all. You know it's good when you clean the plate. And considering that I wasn't going by any specific recipe that Blue Apron offered, and considering I never tried Blue Apron until now, that's not bad. Now you can definitely see the scepter sitting in the vice clamp. And quite literally the healthiest thing to wash that down with would be, you guessed it, good old H2O. No, he didn't. No, yes, he did. I didn't look like much, but after eating it, it's like, wow, yeah. I'm telling you, YouTube, if you have not tried cooking barbecue sauce into your fish, next time you go to make fish, sprinkle a little bit of barbecue sauce on there while you're cooking it. You can't tell me that barbecue deep fried catfish don't sound good as fuck right about now. Like if you cook the catfish with the barbecue sauce all the way through, and then you let it cool off, cut it in slices, rolled it in some batter and deep fried it. Oh.
If you can, open the window when you cook, just as a precaution. You don't want the whatever you're cooking to overpower. But it didn't stink when I cooked it, despite the fact when you cook fish, it didn't smell that fishy when I cooked it. Supposedly Blue Apron offers food that's non-GMO, stuff like that, non-pesticide, that kind of thing, freshest ingredients, that sort of thing. And I definitely got the impression of fresh ingredients when I cooked and ate that. I haven't tried any, or I shouldn't say I haven't tried any of their recipes. I have not tried all of their food, but usually if your first experience is a pleasant one, then the rest of them can't be too bad. Although sometimes your first time trying something could be awesome, and then the next couple of times after that, you know. It's no different with dating. Your first one could always be pleasant enough, but then the next couple of ones after that are just complete shit. Sometimes YouTube, that's just the luck of the draw, as they say. After some delicious fish, a nice delicious bowl of rich black Cavendish pipe tobacco. Normally I don't eat breakfast, but for the sake of a YouTube video I was like, you know, I haven't done a cooking video on YouTube in so long. I mean, I basically explained it step by step. I didn't go any higher than number 7, so like medium heat basically throughout the entire thing. And fish is most definitely an excellent source of protein. And not only is fish an excellent source of protein, but the natural fish oils you get when eating it. As I mentioned before, that scepter is going to be in that vice clamp for most of the day, just to make sure that the glue dries on it properly. You definitely want to keep your eyes peeled the next couple of days on that the Cobra Craft store, because as soon as they're done drying, I'm going to start listing them completely finished
of course. Thank you for watching me try Blue Apron for the first time, and thanks for watching the video. I'll catch you cool cobras on the flip side.
Mm-hmm.